I just finished the Wild Hearts campaign, and here are my thoughts on it. First, I'd like to thank EA for sponsoring this video and providing early access to Wild Hearts. Wild Hearts is a new hunting game from EA and Koei Tecmo. Set in a fantasy version of feudal Japan, giant beasts known as Kimono have amassed incredible power by fusing with nature, and driven humanity to the brink of ruin. Players will need to hunt increasingly powerful Kimono to save the local village of Minato. Along the way, players will harvest materials from slain Kimono to build tougher armor and stronger weapons. This provides the basic game loop for Wild Hearts. Hunt weak Kimono and use their parts to make weak armor and weapons. Then take those new armor and weapons and use them to hunt more powerful Kimono, using their parts to make more powerful armor and weapons. The standout feature in Wild Hearts is the ability to craft karakuri, mechanical contraptions that can be used in combat or to permanently change the map. In the beginning of the game, you can only build basic karakuri, like boxes or strings, but by the end of the game you can quickly materialize complicated traps to hold Kimono in place or deal massive damage to them. Over time I managed to find a balance between swinging my maul and crafting traps, and there's nothing as satisfying as having a Kimono walk into a chain trap right after you finish charging an extremely powerful swing. Intricate combat is at the core of any hunting game, and Wild Hearts gets this right. Players choose from 8 different weapons, each with a completely different combat style. At first, I thought that the Umbrella, a weapon that gives players the ability to parry and counterattack, would be my main weapon. Then it turned out I was really bad at parrying, and oddly enough, the slow but powerful Maul turned out to be the weapon I used for almost all of the game. Every weapon has a different way to charge up to deal extra damage. For instance, to charge up the Maul or the Staff, you need to time an input with a flash of light on your character. Charging up the katana is as simple as landing hits, and the bow has a really unique way to charge up to deal maximum damage. The bow has 2 different types of arrows. One deals very little damage but sticks into the target. The second type of arrow actually activates the arrow stuck into the target, causing a chain reaction for extra damage. It's clear a lot of thought went into each weapon, and no two feel even remotely similar to each other. The Kimono are extremely aggressive, especially when enraged. Players will need to be careful not to charge in haphazardly or get stuck performing a combo attack, as the Kimono will take advantage of these opportunities to hit the player. But players will get hit. A lot. In fact, I frequently ran out of heals mid-fight and had to scavenge for additional healing charges while dodging attacks from an angry Kimono. There are over 20 different large Kimono to hunt, including variant Kimono with different elemental affinities from their base counterparts. And as most hunters know, once you reach the credits, it's only the beginning. And Wild Hearts includes plenty of endgame content to keep players coming back for more. Wild Hearts has a vast and customizable difficulty range. Players can push themselves to the limits by moving directly from one story quest to another, or they can make the game significantly easier by taking the time to complete optional hunts and craft more powerful weapons and armor. In my first playthrough, I made a few attempts to go directly from one story quest to another, and I got absolutely wrecked. After taking the time to hunt optional Kimono and craft full armor sets, I was able to take on the story missions with relative ease. This means those who want a challenge can find it, but newcomers to the hunting genre will have an opportunity to learn and progress through the game without too much difficulty. If you find yourself having a hard time defeating a Kimono, you can always request assistance from other hunters. Then, players playing in their own worlds will be alerted that a nearby player is requesting assistance, because their gates will start to glow blue. These players can quickly hop into your hunt and receive their own set of rewards for helping you slay the Kimono. This form of multiplayer encourages spontaneous grouping up with new players and is perfect for when you're still up hunting at 3 AM after all your friends have gone to sleep. Wild Hearts has full crossplay functionality between PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. When playing online, I found it was important to play with players that I had a solid network connection with. Luckily, Wild Hearts gives you the ability to only pair with other players where you have a strong network connection, and I recommend making sure that this setting is enabled. Wild Hearts has the most unique and creative weapons tree I've seen for any game yet. In Wild Hearts, players start by crafting one of 8 base weapons. After players have acquired the necessary materials, they can upgrade this weapon to any neighbor in the weapons tree. When a weapon is upgraded, any inherited skills the weapon had can be transferred to the upgraded version, provided there are enough inherited skill slots on the new weapon. This allows players to custom tailor their weapon to behave exactly how they like. For instance, I have a Maul with the Savage +4 skill, giving the weapon +4 attack. When I upgrade the Maul to the Rage Tail version, I can move this Savage skill over to one of the 2 open inherited skill slots. As weapons get upgraded further, there will eventually not be enough inherited slots to carry over every skill, and players will need to determine which skills are most important to them. This system can lead to some really complicated upgrade paths. For instance, if a player wanted to maximize the water wheel skill, they could start out at the top left of the tree to get this 5% upgrade. Then they could carry it over to the middle of the tree to get another 15%. After that, they could upgrade laterally to eventually get to the strongest water weapon, and use 2 inherited skill slots to have 20% water wilt, greatly increasing the weapon's elemental damage output. Armor is much simpler. With each piece of armor, players will receive a set defensive bonus, resistance to each of the elements, and in many cases, skills. Some pieces of armor will have human or kimono forms. These are slight alterations to the armor that affects defensive and resistance stats, but also shifts the player's alignment. Player alignment is a scale that shows the player's balance between the human and kimono lifestyles. Some of the more powerful skills are only activated if players reach a certain balance level. For instance, on this mask we can see that players only receive the deaf ears and lunar protection skills if they have a very strong kimono alignment. The last thing I want to talk about is completion time. I think the average player who has a bit of experience with hunting games will probably spend around 40 hours beating this game. But if you're a completionist who wants to craft a bunch of different armor sets and test out a bunch of different weapons, you're probably looking at least 80 hours of content, and that does not include the in-game stuff. For me personally, I think I'm going to sink a lot of time into this game. I really enjoy playing it, I really enjoy the multiplayer aspect, and to me this is going to be a great game to just sit down, play with my friends online while talking and hanging out with them, so I think I'm easily going to put over 200 hours in this game. Plus, I'm kind of thinking it might be fun to speedrun, so we'll see what happens with that. If you do wind up buying Wild Hearts, please share your thoughts here. I'm very excited for this game, and I can't wait to play with you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.